break it down. Like had seeing what you call it, the dogs that you have. It helped me with that, you guys. The dogs, you know what I'm talking about. Um, a seeing dog for them, and I
Seeing
had
eye.
see it. There you go, because I it's got work too as well. And basically, I had to work in a situation like that where I had to overcome a circumstance of project management skills and just assessment skills of been able not to be able to put them in a shelter that may not be able to allow particular animals or dogs and stuff like that too, that may not be beneficial to the people within the residency, or within the um, with I would say just within the shelters and things like that too as well. I hope that answers your question. If that's what you're looking for. I don't know.
No, it wasn't a question. I just wanted you to
Okay.
elaborate a little bit on what you
Okay.
have been doing, because, like I said, this is your story, what you have
Okay.
been contributing to, because I see where you were uh, included with the CDC
Oh yeah.
as well, and
Yeah. So we
tell us.
worked. Yeah, we worked on a major project with CDC. So we were the first frontliners when it came to the COVID, the
Yeah,
pandemic that we all suffered with. And we were responsible for educating our community, the Black and Brown community. So we were out there, boots on the ground, as far as like educating the people in the socially deprived areas too, like I mentioned before, people that may have needed resources such as the food and things like that too, light assistance, more almost I consider it as a outreach CDC social worker. That's what I would consider it too. We had to educate people on the different vaccines, from Janssen, Pfizer, Moderna, all those things like that. As far as like who can get the booster, who can't get the boosters based off of compromised immune systems, and basically let people know that's not propaganda, it's not a stigma. As far as like this is you're not a guinea pig, even though it says clinical trials. You're not this guinea pig that needs to go and get this shot to see if it's only going to be affecting the Black and Brown community. So that's why I work with CDC on that aspect of it too as well. I actually met the CDC about 2 or 3 weeks ago too, and we're actually doing a workforce development program, and I'm actually part of the workforce development, and it's to see that how beneficial that community healthcare workers are within the community, our project community healthcare workers are within the community too, because I'm able to link with my real estate experience. I'm able to link people to different resources as far as like the housing piece to it. I might come across someone that might have a room, that might be able to have a soldier that may need some to process their disability benefits or the VA benefits, that may be able to transition over to that room, or maybe be able to transition to some transitioning housing. So that's also part of that CDC piece too as well. So we're actually out in the community on behalf of the CDC. We're the face of CDC, also through contract through a company here in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Wow, wow. I'm looking at your resume, if I may, and some of
Uh-huh.
your skills. I'm just so amazed by
Uh,
the sheer number uh, of project planning and execution, risk
oh yeah.
assessment and mitigation, problem solving and decision making, real estate sales and negotiation,
Hmm.
contract negotiation and management, legal and regulatory compliance, lease
Hmm.
agreement management, risk management, data analysis and interpretation. Okay, I don't want to butcher this. Epidemiological,
Yeah,
epidemic.
epidemiology, like for epidemic, because this is an epidemic. The pandemic was part of the
Thank,
epidemic. Yeah.
thank you for
Mhm.
saving me on that one. Research. Okay.
I
Uh,
would have left that alone.
Yeah.
I should have skipped that.
Epidemiology. Yeah.
Public
Yeah.
health policy knowledge, team
Uh-huh.
leadership, collaboration. Wow,
Mm-hmm.
there is so much stakeholder communication, quality
Mm-hmm.
assurance and control, market analysts and research, marketing and advertising, property facilities maintenance, vendor management, coordination, environmental sustainability practices, public health surveillance, health information systems, emergency response planning, slash planning. Ladies and gentlemen, I only got two-thirds of that list. And you were worried about being on for an hour. Good gracious, this will take two
Um,
weeks.
oh
Okay,
wow.
I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to toss. I have a question, and then I'm going to talk it over to Tiffany after I read this.
Okay.
Professional summary: versatile and accomplished professional with a comprehensive background spanning project management, commercial property management, real estate
Mm-hmm.
operations, and public health initiatives for the Centers for Disease Control. And
Mm-hmm.
let's say, and operations, let's see, and prevention, CDC,
Mhm.
adept at leading multifaceted teams, implementing strategic initiatives, and ensuring seamless operations across diverse sectors, proven ability to integrate project management principles with real estate expertise, public health strategies to achieve optimal outcomes. My question to you, my dear sister,
Mhm.
what influenced you to go into this field? And with everything I just read, there's a vast amount of knowledge in that brain of yours.
No, no.
And how do you organize this? Do you work with a team? I know this is a multifaceted question.
Mhm.
What inspired you? With a background and education and information, that you have. And what made you go into this field
So you're talking about the public health or just in general?
in general? Because
Be-
it seems like
okay.
there's a lot that
Mhm.
you
Yeah. I always tell people the biggest investment is yourself. You can't take that investment away from you. So
okay.
I always like to learn. I like to learn new things. I like to understand new things, new objectives, new trinkets. And that's why I'm like that, because I feel like my mind, we don't necessarily use all of our capacity when it comes to our knowledge and our brain, our intelligence. So I feel
That's
like
right.
it's best for me to be able to build on what I can and learn what I possibly can, because I look at it from an ancestor point of view, because our ancestors before me, they didn't have that opportunity to be able to do that. So this is
Mhm.
my payment back to the ancestors that fought for me to be able to go to the school system, to be able to learn, to be able to go to the schools and be able to learn all the information I possibly can. So it's the sky to the limit. So my biggest investment is myself, and I like to be well rounded and well diverse in different information, so that I can be able to help myself, my family, my friends, and anybody else that may come to me. And I want to be able to be on top of things when it comes to, if I can meet somebody from different facets of life, I know something about that subject matter. And I just like learning. That's just what I love to do.
That's absolutely
Yeah.
incredible. I'm going to toss
Yep.
it over to Tiffany right now.
Mhm.
Tiffany, take any part of her resume you will, because there's a whole lot to unpack there. Okay, so what do you want to say about this amazing sister of yours, and take any part of that resume that you wish, and then follow up with your questions. Or
Okay, sure. I was scanning through your encyclopedia there, and um, and I said, "Ooh!" I saw a couple of things that stuck out
Okay.
to me, and yeah, one of them is real estate, and then the other one was when
Mhm.
you were backstage, working backstage with the different jazz artists and
Mhm.
whatnot.
Mhm.
And I said, okay, because I have my degree in digital filmmaking.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so I'm a writer on the side, but I've always had a passion for real estate.
Okay.
Because I used to watch those shows like Flip This House and
Mhm.
you know what I mean, and all of
Mhm.
um those syndications. And so basically, I know you just said you like to learn a lot of
Mhm.
different things.
Mhm.
That's just kind of your makeup. But what is it really about real estate that got you wanting to go into that realm?
So I want to first start off. I actually start off as in paralegal technology. That probably should be on the resume. So I actually was going to go to school to be an attorney. I passed the LSAT, did pretty good with that too as well. Then I start comparing. Oh, well, my last name's Holmes, Holmes. So that's a history of being a Holmes for one. Two, I was like, well, you know what? I like looking at houses. I like construction. And I was influenced by one of our swing sisters by the name of Dee Best, Denise Best with Central
Oh
Carolina
yes, I
Chapel.
know D.
You guys know Dee. Okay, so she motivated me because I've been knowing Dee since I was 15 years old. So I would see her on TV on the Realtors channel. I was like, oh, I want to be just like that. And there, was Sybil Russ. I'm throwing some names out there. It's like, I want to be like that, because you really didn't see many women that looked like me, in the real estate industry. So I said, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and hold off going to law school. I said, but I'll go ahead and see if I can go pass this real estate exam, because they said, the real estate exam is harder than the LSAT. I said, okay, let me try that. So I ended up taking the real estate exam and passing it. And that's what inspired me to start, selling real estate. And I just always like helping people. But one thing that really got me involved in real estate, when we lived in New Haven, Connecticut, my mother had paid a real estate agent, I think back in 1988, 89, whatever it was, $500 um, to help us find a property here in North Carolina. And when we drove down to from Connecticut here, the real estate office was nowhere to be found. The agent wasn't picking up our phone or anything like that. And that also motivate me too to be a agent that's going to be stand by their word, have a sense of integrity, to try to do what I can to help people, place people in houses and things like that. So I know the sense of urgency of not having a place to stay. And so that was my driving force as far as like being a real estate agent. And then I was able to take my paralegal technology for me working with one of the largest bankruptcy attorney for a whole year, and was able to use that in my real estate business, because a lot of people don't realize that people can buy a home in a Chapter 13. If you've been in the Chapter 13 for 2 years, real estate agents don't realize that. A lot of real estate agents don't realize, and lenders don't realize, if they don't have the knowledge, that's where you have to educate yourself, that you can actually buy a house one day after bankruptcy, but you can get the down payment assistance programs. So those are things that's what inspired me to be able to understand, to be able to corner a market that most people wouldn't have any understanding about or don't even care to be able involved in, because that type of market, working the bankruptcy industry or the down payment assistance industry, is a very tough market. It's very stressful, very draining. But it's rewarding at the end, because you put people in houses that typically would never been in a house in the first place. Then I go back and look back how when we moved down 20, 30 years ago, and we didn't have a good real estate agent, just took my mother's money, and
I'm
we
sorry.
didn't know anything about the area. And so I made a promise to myself to be there people, because at the end of the day, your house, what? Yeah, yeah. My rambling, my going on. But yeah, that's what happened.
Please. Yeah, that's
Okay.
what you're here for, to ramble on.
Okay.
Brother Rob, yes, we want.
I told you I can ramble. I told you that.
I knew that the first time I talked to you a few weeks back.
Yep.
I said,
uh,
"Yep, we have to have her, or she
yeah,
has to
you
be
got a
here."
talker.
Love that.
Platform is yours.
Yeah, hey, Brother Robert, any part of the resume you want to take from, and what questions you have?
Thank you. And thank you, Sister Holmes, for being on here tonight.
Hmm.
Um, I would say you have a vast background in various different areas. What a lot of people would say very multidimensional, that you
Hmm.
focus on various different areas when it comes down to medicine, when it comes down to mental health, when it comes
Hmm.
down to COVID, when it comes down to real estate. The one thing that I caught on this was your work in the jazz industry.
Okay.
And
Okay.
that basically caught my attention in regards to, but you also, you're very serious at the same time, and also you're working hard when it comes down to various different artists. Um, Tell me, what was probably the best artist you've ever worked with?
Hmm.
Well, I would say this much. My uncle lives in Virginia, Hampton, Virginia. I think you may have spoke to him, William, but his name is Jay Lane. He works over at Hampton University, so I want to give him his props and shout out. So I kind of fell into this, even though I like jazz. I've always liked jazz as a very, very young age, and I fell into it at a Kirk Whalum concert. And so Kirk Whalum was awesome, but really the person I really remember that really was inspirational was Joel Albright and Bob James, because I've always liked foreplay, and Nathan with the high voice. So those are the jazz artists that I can really think of that were really influential to me. Those two jazz artists. Now I am looking forward to Jonathan Butler on June 14th. So please join us for that too as well, with Church Street Jazz in Norfolk, Virginia, with Jay Lang and Priscilla Lang. But that I just fell into it, and my uncle didn't realize that I knew so many different jazz artists and so many different songs and things like that for me being such a young lady. Because back in the day, in Raleigh, there was a station called 93.9. That was our jazz station. Then they got rid of that. And then we went like 10 years, 15 years without any jazz station. So, and I was just kind of tuned in at a station over at Shaw at St. Augustine College. And that was pretty much it. Our jazz stations on Sundays. So I think,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow, wow, wow. We've talked about it. Robert stole that, but I was trying to save the music thing till last.
Uh-huh.
I definitely was. And because,
Uh-huh.
we're on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and
Okay.
80% of our broadcasting, I would say 75 to 80%, we play music. Play a
Okay.
lot of jazz, blues,
Mm-hmm.
southern soul,
Mm-hmm.
neo soul, R&B, and
Mm-hmm.
that's the whole, even country music. We play country music as well. But anyway, getting back to that, and you and I talked off air there, and yes, I did call Jay and we haven't
Mhm.
personally yet, right?
Okay.
Uh, but we've been missing one another. But we'll get together soon
Yep.
because there are some other things we want to talk about with you and Jay, and
Mhm.
some things on how we can expand that together as well. But anyway, speaking of, you say you fell into it when you were a young lady. Did you have? You say now your uncle plays. How about your immediate family? Your mom, your dad, your brothers, sister, anybody else into music as well?
The only person I could think of right offhand that I could think of is my Uncle D. He could pick up any instrument and play it, harmonicas, guitars, electric guitars. And my grandfather was real big in playing instruments too as well. So I grew up in
Uh-huh.
an era where you people were on the porch and they're playing the different instruments. So you walk by the porch and you have Bob playing the harmonica and you have somebody playing the guitar, somebody playing the saxophone. You know what I mean? And they got wine or wild Irish rose in their hands when they just having a good time. So I I grew up like that. So, and then, me living up north and back and forth, my first time
Right.
I was in gym, I like George Benson, the extended version, Give Me the Night. Give Me the Night. So
Right.
I've always liked jazz as a very, very young age. You
Oh,
know, yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. I tell you, I was talking to
Yeah.
we had Dr. Rowe
Yep.
on uh what, a couple of weeks ago. Dr. Rowe was on,
Okay.
and I think we touched on this too, and how music and laughter, is therapy. And I
Hmm.
see you like music and you like to laugh a lot. And do
Yeah.
you find that that sort of balances out what you do, because you do some serious work over here, but do you find time to enjoy yourself and with music and laughter and just fun?
Oh yeah, because I have to laugh because sometimes you have to. I used to be so serious back in the day. Now I got to the point that I just laugh. My mom said, "Just laugh that off. Just laugh that off. It ain't that serious. Just laugh it off." Because if you take stuff so serious, I ain't trying to fall out and have a heart attack anytime soon. So I do laugh a lot, and I do like looking at like cats. Like I like cats. Wouldn't necessarily have one in the house because of my sinuses, but the thing is, I like looking at cats and the quirky personalities. Or squirrels. I got some squirrels that I feed and things like that too. And I fed a squirrel a neck bone. His hair was falling out 2 or 3 weeks later. But yeah, just those things like that too. So yes, I love to laugh, and I like listening to my music. Yeah, especially in the shower. Yeah. But I most definitely listen to my gospel. I'm really big with my relationship with God too as well. So I want to most
Oh
I
boy.
hear that.
Mm-hmm.
It's
That's
funny you say that because I'm
that's it
looking
right
at your
there.
education right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You Liberty University, Lynchburg, Virginia,
Mm-hmm.
Master in Religion.
Yeah.
What a great segue. North
Mm-hmm.
Carolina Licensing Board of General Contractors,
Oh yeah.
certified licensed NC residential contractor, uh, 2022. Robeson Community College, community health care specialist. Do you sleep?
Yeah, I do. See,
Okay, all
I
right.
do. I eat cucumbers and figs and drink plenty of water. If you do that, you might be all right. And some dark chocolate.
But I can see, sister. I can see, sister. You do not let in the moss growing on your feet. That's for sure.
No,
And you
no.
cover the
Mm,
whole spectrum.
Oh,
You make sure
this,
yeah.
that you stay busy, you stay active, which is good because some of us like being a project manager. You it takes a lot of time away from
Oh
you.
yeah.
You
Mm-hmm.
got to be on point with everything. And
Mm-hmm.
like my brother said,
wow.
you find time to laugh and enjoy music and playing and just having a good time, keeping yourself together. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
'Cause that project management can be stressful.
It is stressful. It is
That's why she
stressful.
laughs so much.
I do.
I started to pick up that major and I left it alone.
Oh, it ain't no
I
joke.
left it right
Mm-hmm.
where it was.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
And I
boy.
changed my major from project management. So you
Yeah.
have to get that PMP certification as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got the junior one, but I actually studied for that, which was really hard to me.
Wow.
So anything with PMP behind it is tough. And then everything's a project management. Even setting up this radio station with you, even setting people up to come on air is a form
Yeah,
of project management. So it's a
Wow.
big web that works together.
Wow. Wow.
absolutely. That's
Yeah,
what I was telling my brother.
yeah.
I spent 24 years in the military.
Okay.
Project management from day one
Yep.
until the day you retire.
Amazing.
Everything has to be rich risk assessed,
Hmm.
and you're going to minimize that risk as much as you possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
See it, you better challenge it right then. You can't sleep on it.
That takes a lot of. It has to take a lot of organizing too.
That's all it is.
Oh yes, absolutely. Speaking
Mm-hmm.
of which, a Project Management Institute certified associate in project management,
Mm-hmm.
CAPM 20. What is CAPM?
It's like camp, so it's a junior. So we call that the junior project management. So you could do analytics, so you can analyze the project, from the beginning to start. You can manage it, but you most sometimes manage the financial aspect of it. So that's what that is. It's more of the junior level of project management, but everything's a project management. Everything we're doing is project management. Even you're running your household is a project management. Depends on how efficient you're going to run your home. Even with him being in the military
Wow.
for 20 years, it's just every I look at everybody as a project manager. It's just
Right,
So
you're
with
going
that
to
said,
manage your project.
right. Some of us are better at it than others, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah. And that's just a junior level, but it's good. It was really
Oh,
rough to get that too. It was pretty intense too.
it's
But
amazing.
sister, with that said, what is the largest project you've worked on?
So, largest project I've actually worked on, one of them was part of the CDC because they actually did an interview with us for like two weeks. So they actually followed me
Mhm.
around and a couple of our people on the team to just do an assessment of us too, as far as like seeing how we interact with the community and like the benefits that we actually brought to the community as well. And then of course the risk of the COVID vaccine shots and not having the COVID vaccine shots, as far as like the increased risk of people actually you know contracting the SARS, or how long they're going to be staying in the hospital if they don't get the vaccine. That was one project that I worked on. And then one of my largest projects that I basically said I'll never do again, but I'm actually starting back on it again, is I renovated a historic building that I
Whoa.
actually, yeah, historic a building that's actually part of a historic preservation registry. And it's the old Sterling cotton mill that you used to, I know you've heard of Fruit of the Loom. So I actually
Uh-huh.
did that. And that was kind of different because you have to do things based off the historic preservation guidelines. So those more would consider myself a real estate and construction project manager,
That's
which you can
absolutely
which is cross functional. You can cross function those skills into different areas too as well.
right. I'm not going
Yeah.
to hog the conversation. So, Tiffany,
Yes.
yes, jump right on in.
Man.
You know the drill. You know the drill. So
Yeah.
let's please.
I'm like I said a while ago, I'm really big on the real estate and
Okay.
music side of things.
Okay.
Um, as far as real estate goes, um, what would I guess? Well, we know your one of your best accomplishments is when you make the sale,
Hmm.
with your clients. But I would ask, what is a downfall between now doing real estate now versus doing real estate maybe 5 or 6 years ago?
Okay. So like some I guess some disadvantages. For one, the rates go up, but but if you're a good real estate agent, you're going to always have clients. So it's one thing you're going to have to master too as a real estate agent. But the downfall would be the fact that our rates are starting to go up, the availability of properties. That's one thing too as well. And then, the way that I look at it, if the rates are low, and then the house price is going to be up. Okay, if the rates typically are high, the house prices are going to end up being lower. You're going to be a little bit more affordable. So the disadvantages right now in the real estate market, I would just say, would be the interest rates and been a little bit stricter criteria for people to be able to qualify, and just been able to find some money for people, especially our first-time home buyers. Because at some point there was a lawsuit that was actually granted that said that the buyer, like if you became a first-time home buyer, will have to pay the real estate agent their fee, plus pay the closing costs, plus pay their down payment. So that eliminates a lot of people
Mhm.
in certain communities not being able to purchase homes, if that makes sense. So that actually narrows it down to the spread down to who can be able to buy properties. So that means you're going to have more people renting places versus being homeowners. Where in like the old Tanisha, the old real estate market, we could have been able to put them into a house, or we could have did like seller financing, where the seller could have picked up the 3.5% and took care of their down payment, plus pay up to 6% towards their closing costs. So things like that too. So the disadvantage would be the interest rates and having stricter qualification guidelines too as well. But there are some great programs out there too, with real estate. If you're, if you're interested in real estate, let me know. We can get you involved in that.
I'm definitely
So,
Mm.
interested in
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
can I butt in for a minute, Tiffany?
Hmm.
I have a question for the sister. Now, since I know I have my own reasons, but why isn't that kind of information, sister, being, ex- introduced to the people that need to know these things? Why is this a secret for the most part? They're not
Mm.
telling the people that they are capable, able to own a home uh, without all the red tape. Who's holding this information back and why?
I wouldn't really say anybody's holding anything back, but we like, we have to work within compliance. So we have a governing body that governs us as real estate agents on what we can say, what we can't share as far as like things like that goes. So that
Mm.
has to do with it too as well. And then just basically, it really is word of mouth and then just the exposure piece of it because we have to watch what we actually advertise online or on Facebook or just different types of marketing tools, things like that too as well. But I know what you're saying, like why do people don't know anything about the CPLP programs or the $15,000 grant from North Carolina Housing. And there are some programs up there in Virginia too that offers up to
Mm.
$20,000. So I talked to one of the lenders up there in Virginia too as well because I was thinking about getting a license up there. And they got some good products up there too, especially for the veterans and things like that too. But it's just based off the facts that we have a governing party that actually governs us not to be able to save us so much.
Mm.
Yes,
So,
Wow.
yes.
just been straight up with you about it. Yeah.
And that's the reason why I opened that
Mhm.
question up.
Yeah.
Right.
Because
I'm
I
glad you
said,
did.
I
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
they are still not opening up enough. Because the fact
Mm-hmm.
is, if people are allowed to own a home, they
Mm-hmm.
should know that. They
Yeah.
talk about the economy is
Mm-hmm.
sluggish here. They're talking about we're not doing enough here.
Hmm.
If
Mm-hmm.
they allow people the access to get into the economy like they should and stop giving them so much red tape to try to get,
Mm-hmm.
I think the economy will flourish a lot better.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Because the fact is, if you're holding somebody back, that
Mm-hmm.
revenue is not going into the economy. You know that.
Right.
Mm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I wanted the audience to hear that from a professional like you. Why
Mm-hmm.
isn't it being exposed, the
Right.
information itself?
Yeah. And there are also one thing about these programs too that some real estate agents know, some of us don't. But you can layer programs, like you can layer your down payment assistance programs, but you have to meet certain income requirements too as well. So like
Hmm.
if you can get a grant from North Carolina Housing, which is $15,000, you might be able to get a grant up to $15,000, not 15, but 50,000 or $100,000 from CPLP. But they want you to live like in a certain area. It's like the criteria is for you to live within a certain area, certain zip
Ooh.
codes, if that makes sense. But then they'll say, oh, we're not allowed to do any type of redlining, right? But the program says, oh, you have to go over in this zip code, over in this area in order to be able to qualify
Uh,
for the program. So it's kind of like, which one?
yeah. And
So
see, that doesn't sound on its face right there.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
It doesn't sound good to me at all
It's
Mm-hmm.
not.
because that's a form of discrimination there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just
Okay.
didn't want
I,
to say
yeah, I understand. I understand.
Mm-hmm.
And I do understand compliance. There's certain things that you
Oh
can
yeah.
say and certain
Mm-hmm.
things that you can't, you know. Uh,
Right.
my business is a little bit different on my other business, and
Okay.
I'm a licensed broker, stockbroker, and I don't
Oh wow.
sell stocks anymore, but
Okay.
I do financial planning and
Mm-hmm.
retirement planning and insurance and things of that nature. And
Okay.
so there's a strict guideline, as far as my profession is concerned. And there's certain things that those are there are lines you cannot cross.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I do understand that. But anyway, my question is that what is the biggest secret? Oh, two-part.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, the program that you have going on in Carolina, do you know, or maybe even get back to me, what is the program in Virginia? Because we
Mm-hmm.
have one of our a largest part of our organization, I mean, our operation and listeners, they are
Mm-hmm.
in Richmond, and that's happened over the last couple of years, you know, and we have people all over California uh,
Mm-hmm.
and around the country.
So
What?
there, it's similar to ours. It's a $15,000 grant too. It's similar to that $15,000 to $20,000 grant. I do know the name of it. If I was prepared, which I'm not today, I could have went downstairs and picked it up and picked up the information too because I had all the details because I wrote it down. But I can always get back in touch with the lender that I'm going to be working with in Virginia to provide that information to your listeners if you like. Give you some,
Yes,
just
absolutely. As a
information,
matter of fact,
additional piece. Yeah, yeah, and get them
yeah.
moved up with the
Not
lender
only
there, Robert. Mhm,
right, right. Not
mhm,
only would I love for you to get back to me
mhm.
about this information, but we want to get back. I would like for you to get back to me when you can come back on too,
Okay.
because there's so much that you have to say, and we have a limited time for you to get that out. My
Okay.
next, what is I don't know whether it's the same in Virginia or North Carolina or where it is around the world. Can you say maybe what is the national average as far as being able to qualify? You mentioned qualifications to
Mhm.
purchase a home. What would you say the credit score needs to be?
So it depends. So typically, if you got a, so the thing is the way that works. I used to be a loan officer too, but the thing is, years ago, if you have a 580 credit score, middle credit score with all the three different credit bureaus, middle score is 580. You're gonna have to put 3.5% down typically, right? But you cannot
Okay.
have any late payments in the past 12 months, really hypothetically speaking, 24 months. So it's not good to have any late payments in the past 24 months. I mean, no dings, no late card payments, so forth and so on.
Okay.
If you have the 580 credit scores and you may only have one trade line up there, we can do what you call alternative credit. So an alternative credit would be like a light bill that you pay constantly on time. If you got money that's been taken out your checking account, not checking, well, you say your savings account, if you're saving a certain amount of money each month for the past 12 months to 24 months, we can use that as a form of showing some form of installment that's been paid on time.
Hmm.
Car insurance, cell phone bills. So we can use things called alternative credit, but really the score should be 580 for 3.5%. We have 600 credit score. What that's part of Chinoga program. 12 months, no clean history. You can have a 600 minimal credit score, but they're going to finance the 3.5%, which your down payment in the loan. The rates are going to be a little bit higher, so be right above market rate. You're going to have a little bit more extensive fee because the risk is a lot greater. So that's one thing too, the Chinoga program too. So around 580, but really 600 is the low end for the 100% financing with some lenders, but most lenders like to look around 620, 640 and better.
Okay.
Yep.
That that says a lot to
Okay.
a lot of us out here, and so
Mm-hmm.
that is absolutely. What is the biggest? Before we go to Robert, what is the biggest secret that you can share that the average buyer is unaware of? The biggest secret you could think of.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's two of them. So one thing, buyers typically don't realize that in most cases it's free to until they, even though that lawsuit came into play and we don't know when that's going to start implementing where the buyer's going to be responsible for paying a buyer agent fee. But our fees typically paid by the sellers or the builders. So they
Hmm.
don't have to worry about coming out of pocket for that. So it don't cost them anything to go and get a professional opinion, a professional advisor when it comes to real estate. That's one thing too as well. Um, and also to buyers, one of the another secret is what buyers don't realize that there's programs out there that can minimize out of pocket expenses. That's a secret that they don't know, that sometimes they're not educated on, especially our first time home buyers.
Okay, back up 1 second.
Mhm.
Rewind that.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, the program you talk about. What is the name of that?
So there's quite a bit of programs. So there's something called, I think I mentioned to you, Chinoga, if I can pronounce it. It's like a Chinoa program. Chinoa, I put a G in it, a little
Chinoa.
accent. Chinoa, see a Chinoa. The Chinoa program, that's 100% finance. You have to have at least a 600 credit score. And no lates in the past 12 months, really hypothetically speaking, 24 months. You have to have a 600 middle credit score. They're going to finance your 3.5% into a 3.5%. It's going to be market rate. You're going to have a whole bunch of fees and a whole bunch of expenses to be able to get that loan because it's high risk.
Okay.
That's one of them. Then North Carolina has a CPLP loan, which helps you. That's a partnership program that allows people to be able to get grants, which is layered. You can layer the grants, but you have to live in certain areas. Then we got North Carolina housing. Then we got the USDA, which is really good. Then we got VA, like your VA. I do a lot. I work with a lot of veterans, most definitely.
Mm-hmm.
So, if that answers, hope that answers your question.
It does. It does.
Okay.
Clayton and I, uh, Robert, I promise you, I'm gonna let you jump right on in, bro. Give
Okay.
it back to Clayton. Okay, we were just talking about this because we're planning a program. It will probably be in June, and
Okay.
we will have uh, Clayton is a veteran, and then our other panelist, Mark Daniels, is a veteran.
Okay.
And we were talking last a couple of weeks ago, Robert and Tiffany, about veterans benefits and how a lot of veterans uh, receive, or they are not receiving the benefits that they deserve
Hmm.
and earned.
Hmm.
And it takes a little research. Having the information is just
Hmm.
like anything. Like you giving us invaluable information here about home ownership, how to buy a home, the things to
Yeah,
look out
good
for.
stuff.
And I
Hmm.
think anyone who is looking or buying or maybe even refinance, whatever it is,
Hmm.
they can benefit from this. So, but anyway, I think I was talking to Clayton that sometime in June we would like to have a program, and we're going to focus mainly on, well, all the entire program would be focused on veterans,
Okay. Okay.
veterans benefits,
Hmm.
things that they are not aware of. And it sounds like you have information in that because you're dealing with veterans.
Hmm. Yeah.
And so, I would love to ask you publicly right now if you would be willing to come back on that show, because
Absolutely. Yeah.
thank
Hmm.
you so much,
Yeah.
brother
That
Robert.
is cool.
Yes, and definitely with home ownership, it's not only important to make sure that they have the ability to be able to purchase a home, renovate a home, but also to keep the home,
Hmm.
meaning the
Hmm.
idea of basically having generational wealth,
Hmm.
because it really is important to make sure that there is, because the land is definitely important. And I saw one of the things that you have here in regards to your assisting sellers and heirs with probate steps,
Hmm.
documents, because this information for maintaining the lots are basically filed with the state or the clerks of the court. How important is it to maintain home ownership, and why don't more, especially our people, know about that?
Well, without me being an attorney, because I can't really give legal advice, I think because I've done a little bit of most definitely to file stuff over probate. Um, I think we need to start more educating more of our people, the Black and Brown community, about putting their homes or putting their properties in a trust. We know about that. I'm quite sure William probably knows about that, especially with being an investor on the stock market. But that's the best way to be able to keep from having to worry about inheritance tax, to be able to shield yourself from that. So that I think that's where we need to kind of focus on that when it comes to the Black and Brown community, as far as like teaching them about open up trust accounts, irrevocable trust, and things like that, to be able to save the property, save the taxes, and to keep their family at bay when it comes to having to be taxed by the state when it comes to intestate succession, in my opinion. Um, but yeah, I agree with you about that. As far as like people trying to maintain their properties, a lot of times what happens with my buyers or just people in general, or just buyers in general, they'll get a house and they go buy a new car, and then they go buy some furniture, maybe put it on credit and stuff like that. And I don't endorse that, because I mean, you got to stay. That's why there's a housing allowance within 41%, 45%. You need to stay within the housing allowance. So, but there are programs out there to help people when they do fall short, to be able to help them to recover. As far as like, if they're behind on a mortgage, you can actually tack it back on at the end of the mortgage payment, or you can get bought out or whatever, or something like that, or cash for keys. But there are some programs out there as far as like that goes, as far as like some assisting housing assistant programs when people fall behind when it comes to dealing with foreclosure or preventing foreclosure, because they much rather for you to keep on paying that high interest for you to go into foreclosure. Just depends on if you're in California, they much rather the foreclose than going to sell and make a fortune off of it. But most of the time the banks really want you to keep the house and then keep on earning that interest in the open market, because that's how they make the money to sell on the stock market, of the portfolio based in a blanket situation where they sell it, and that's how they make their money, sell good paper. It's all about paper, A, B, C, and D paper. If that makes sense, what I'm saying to you.
That makes a lot of
Yes, yes,
sense.
Okay.
definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
And this information that you are sharing with us, a lot of our youth, especially 30s, 40s, that going into the or the housing market. I taught my son
Mm-hmm.
a while ago. He's a captain in the army now.
Okay.
The
Mm-hmm.
difference between ownership and renting,
Mm-hmm.
and lo and behold, he listened. He's always been an intelligent young man, but he listened. He bought his house and he saw the benefits because they never stay still in the army. So
Mm-mm.
he's ready to get transferred, but he saw the equity that was built into the home as opposed to paying somebody else's mortgage.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I was like, wow,
Yeah.
that's that's the difference. Some people are ready to go into these high, fabulous apartments that the people are always going to own, and always you paying for that building.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's true.
I say this is crazy, and they paying double as much, especially here in Richmond. The
Mm-hmm.
the, the condos and the townhouses that they're building now, they're not allowing these people to buy these out,
Mm-mm.
and you paying double as much as I would pay up my mortgage.
Absolutely.
So this is crazy. For twice as much square feet. I always say that the people that own the land, they always call the shots, and that's the
Mm-hmm.
reason why we was cheated out of our land in the beginning. So with real estate, these people are shooting up in Richmond, Chesterfield, uh, Henrico, and it's going to be the mecca because they're trying to bring another casino here as well. So I
Oh
don't know if
wow.
you work in these markets up here. Can you be a broker here as well?
So I'm going to work on at some point when I can get some sleep. I'm going to work on focusing on getting my real estate license in Virginia. I got on the Alexa app to remind me every day to go get my broker's license in Virginia. So yeah, I'm gonna start focusing over that area because my family's up there
That,
in
that
your
would
neck
be
of the
great.
woods.
That would be
Mm-hmm.
great.
Yeah.
That way we'll have connections that we can say,
Mm-hmm.
hey, we go to this sister. She's trustworthy. Tanisha
Mm-hmm.
Holmes put you out there,
Thank
and
you.
because I know some real estate agents that can work in different states,
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
so we'll look out for you. Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Most
I
definitely.
do have a question. I
Uh-huh.
put there in the chat that there is also a program called NACA. Have you
Oh
heard
yeah.
of it?
Yeah, I've worked with NACA.
What
Okay.
is that?
It's back through Bank of America. I have my yeah, I've worked with NACA before. I'm just gonna
You you have
Oh,
your issues. I attended a
okay.
workshop with
I
them.
won't. I won't
Okay.
ask anything
Okay.
about
Yeah.
Yeah, I attended a workshop with them, I think
Mm-hmm.
about a month or so ago,
Mm-hmm.
and it really intrigued me. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I know a couple of people at my job who's gone through the program,
Mm-hmm.
and it worked out for them, and that was something that I was considering doing as well because I know you
Okay.
kept saying no late payment history,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm
Mm-hmm.
terrible with that. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And so I said, well, I think this is a good program, but you and I we could talk about that
Yeah.
afterwards or whatnot. But yeah, I just wanted to see if you heard of it before.
Oh yeah, I've ran people through NACA before. It's a good program. It was back. It was at one point in time when I've done it before. It was actually back through Bank of America,
Hmm.
and it's a good market rate. And then of course, but you have to pay a monthly fee to them each month too. Did you know about that? The $50 might be $75 now. It's a membership fee. So I didn't really care too much about that. But I mean, if it's, I mean, whatever programs work for whoever, I'm open to them because I've worked pretty much all of them. So I'm not going to take you away from that program if you feel comfortable with that because they do teach you how to budget your money.
Hmm.
And that's one thing I do like about them. And sometimes people are actually ready 2 or 3 years prior, but they said, "Oh, you're not ready yet," and you could have probably bought a house 2 or 3 years before that. But I mean, they do teach you some structured skills as far as like financial skills when it comes to NACA.
Do
Right.
you do seminars, sister?
I really haven't had time to do seminars anymore, but I could probably pick that back up again.
Are you willing to speak in front of a mentorship audience?
Yeah, I can do that. I'd be more happy to. I can bring
Okay,
on the best
that's
who.
been on my radar
Uh-huh.
to do a mentorship down at Virginia State University.
Absolutely.
Uh, it's well needed, and we need some guest speakers. So if
Okay.
hopefully you won't be too busy, and we call on you to speak to some of these youth. down to Virginia State. Okay,
Absolutely. I work back and forth in North Virginia because my uncle's there and my aunt's there. So
fantastic.
yeah, I go back and forth. We go back and forth.
What part of Virginia?
So we're in Hampton by Hampton Roads. We're over by
Okay.
Hampton, over in that area.
Oh,
Hmm.
excellent. Excellent school also. Excellent school. Got a
Definitely.
question for you.
Sure. Uh huh.
Let's say someone's looking to purchase a home, but they're in a current lease.
Hmm.
Uh, is there a way to get out of that lease?
There are ways. I've actually negotiated a lease where I actually had the builder to pay for it. That's
Hmm.
one thing as far as like contract negotiating. So I've had that before. There can be other reasons where people can get out of a lease, especially if there's some type of hazard, like if there's like allergies or safety issues or mold or things like that. There's a rider sometimes in those leases where people can get out of it. But yeah, there's just different. You have to kind of look at the lease and kind of see what's going on as far as like the language and things like that. But yeah, you can get out of a lease, or if you do get out the lease, some leasing companies just ask that you pay like the last month's rent and forfeit your deposit. It just depends on the leasing company. But yeah,
Mhm. Oh, okay. Okay.
yeah,
That's good information to know.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I happen to know someone who's trying to get out of a lease.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Hmm.
Wow. This is absolutely incredible. We've got so a few minutes to go here.
Okay.
Uh, I want to switch over to music.
Okay.
Okay, let's talk about this again.
Okay.
So I noticed that and I missed a concert that was on May 4th.
Yeah.
I looked at my calendar and I said, I missed it. I missed it. I missed it. Now, you
Hmm.
mentioned something that's coming up soon.
Hmm.
And who was that again?
That's going to be Jonathan Butler. Jonathan Butler's going to be playing over at the Harrison Opera House in North Virginia. I think at 7 o'clock
Hmm.
on June 14th. On June 14th.
Okay.
He's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I love him because he's got that song "Fall in Love with Jesus" and Many Faces. Yeah, he's a nice.
I followed him since he started. He was only 20 years old.
Oh, okay.
Oh, pretty
Okay.
amazing.
Yeah,
And
that's
Yeah.
so, tell us a little bit more about your involvement. Do you book these artists? And you seem like that you have met. Or I saw something on Facebook where you were with Jill Albright
Yeah.
and a few other artists.
Hmm.
Wow,
Yeah.
that connection is deep there. So, tell us about this. Your what do you do? Is this an organization or group or a company that you have that book artists, or what's
No,
your involvement?
no, I work with my uncle. His name is Jay Lane. You spoke to him. He's with Blue Pyramid. And so what we'll do is like if we're going to work on the sales side as far as like the promotional part. So
Right,
for instance, say for instance, like Pieces of a Dream, if they wanted to have when they had their show back in a couple weeks ago, if they
right,
want to sell CDs or stuff that you can autograph, we would actually set up a station out front where the fans will come out and we can work on getting an autograph for them too. It's like on the promotional part of that, or if we have to do the backstage, whatever we have to do, like in the backstage part with my aunt or my uncle, which my aunt's name is Priscilla too as well. If we got to go grab food or set the table up for the artists or something like that, or concierge type service, or to be able to walk I think we worked with a congressman at one point in time. I cannot remember his name, but
mhm,
those things like that, we're just more of the concierge service part, or whatever my uncle Jay needs at the time. That's what we're there for. If he needs security, we're just his backing. We're just his family backing. We're just there. And I know jazz, so it's perfect for me. Perfect.
right. Oh,
Yeah.
this is absolutely
Yeah.
incredible.
Hmm.
Absolutely incredible. Wow. Uh, wow, we're just about out of time. I'm going to let the panel
Okay.
go around,
Okay.
ask your questions.
Okay.
Hey, Tiffany, anything you want to
I
say?
No, no, I just appreciate the opportunity to speak with you. Again, I definitely will be reaching out to you after the show,
Hmm.
probably sometime later on within the week,
Hmm.
to pick your brain and to see if I can, jump onto some things in regards to real estate.
No
Yeah.
problem. Yeah, that'd be wonderful.
Oh, something else.
Mhm.
Now, what chapter do you belong to
Yeah, I
now?
want to give him a shout out. I the CCG. Yeah, CCG. Mhm.
Now, CCG is what now?
Yeah, so Central Carolina Grad Chapter. That's what the president at one point in time was Cheryl Body, but now it's Blanche. And
Right.
Ty McCoy's with me, Dee Best, Fran, Audrey Hicks. We got some new people. Wilda. It's like 10 of us. It's like 10, 11 of us right now in that chapter. It's a small chapter. We're starting to grow though.
Right, right. Well, I believe, Claudia, I was speaking to one of your sisters,
Hmm.
Tiffany and Tanisha. Claudia Davis. I believe she went to Central. Was it? Is it Central North Carolina?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't. That
North
doesn't
Carolina
mean.
Central.
Oh,
North Carolina Central. That's your
mm-hmm.
school. Is that correct?
We do have a school there called Central. Yeah.
No,
Is it?
I mean the school you went to.
No, I didn't go to Central. I actually went to UNC. I went to UNCG. I went to a UNCG.
Okay.
But
Well, actually,
I'm part of CCG chapter, Central Carolina graduate chapter. So I'm
okay. All
CCG. I'm
right.
sorry, let me clarify that. But no, I actually went to UNCG, but the chapter that I'm associated with is CCG in Raleigh, with Tanya
Abs-
McCoy and Dee Best and Cheryl Body and Blanche and then Fran.
Right.
The people's
Well,
been around forever.
well, like we spoke earlier, if
Hmm.
you have any, we would love to have more swings to come
Hmm.
on this
Hmm.
network.
Hmm.
We've talked to quite a few. We'll book through May, I think. Let's see.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, we have one opening next week.
Okay.
But we'd love to have swings on
Okay.
each and every week. And matter of fact, it's part of this because it's called Groove Swing Network or Groove Swing
Hmm.
Speaks,
Hmm.
and we're bringing our organizations together, and we want to highlight. And I'm gonna ask Robert after I finish uh, if there are any announcements because Robert put it out there a couple of weeks ago that if any grooves or swings have announcements of upcoming events, we
Hmm.
want to know about it, and this is the channel to do it.
Okay.
We would be glad to do that each and every week, and it's part of our show as well. And so, anyway, I just lost my train of thought here, Robert.
Yes, absolutely. I would say final words are basically thank you very much, Sister Holmes,
Thank
for
you.
being on here tonight and
Hmm.
have as you said, a vast range of knowledge and information. And definitely, you are a walking encyclopedia, if I might say. Definitely. And
Thank
I
you.
just definitely wanted to say that.
Hmm.
Um, I'll also say that if you're interested in finding out any information about either one of our organizations, you can take a look at either groove-5-groove.com,
Okay.
or you can also look at swing5swing.org for information, and also search us all on social media to find a local chapter where you are to learn about the efforts of Groove 5 Groove and Swing 5 Swing in your community as
Okay.
well.
Okay.
And
Absolutely, absolutely. Clayton,
as of also, I know that well,
that's
the
okay.
polls were ending up in Maryland. That's because I have my I voted sticker because I went out to the polls today. The group
Yes,
and swing both vote.
Hmm.
Our blocks are definitely important.
Oh yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. And Robert, thank you for that because we need to speak that and talk about that each and every week going forward here. And
Hmm.
also, not only your national elections, but your local elections are so vitally important, and we seem to skip over those. Oh, that's just the local. But see, you understand, a house is built one brick at a time, and you have to start with your local elections, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Because they impact your community, whether it's
Hmm.
the school board or whatever office that is locally. Please, please get out there and vote. We have ancestors that died to make
Hmm.
sure that we had the right to vote. That is so vitally important. Clayton,
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Brother Robert Hicks. And also, Sister Tanisha Holmes. We appreciate all that you have done and what you're about to do. And you came on, you answered the call, and you shared a vast amount of information. I learned some things. I'm going to share some of the things that you have told me to other people. But when we get this mentorship program off and running, I would
Okay.
love to have a lot of the sisters and brothers come on board, the ones that have a voice, have something to say, to share with the people, and we will give you the microphone. But you will be sharing it with the people that are looking for the information, like Virginia State University, Virginia Union University, or wherever we can share this information. I would like for you, sister, to be a part of it because you got a lot to share. Also, with the sister D Best, I had an opportunity to have fun with D again, and she came down for or up for a community service project that we had at the Hope Center. She has done this a couple of times with us, and I really appreciate the sisters because the swings have come alongside of the grooves, and we do the community service projects just like it was meant to be. Sisters and brothers hand in hand. The best, she always comes through. We went to Croker Spot and shared a meal after we did our work.
I wasn't there.
And no, you was not.
Oh man, I
Uh,
missed out.
Most
Okay.
of the time. But Tanisha, thank you. Tiffany, thank you. I appreciate you, sisters, for coming alongside of us, brothers.
All
Thank
right.
you.
And I want to say this. Well, see, the thing about it is, we have to have her back because we only read a third of her resume.
Right.
There's so much that you have to share, and
Okay.
it's been a lot of fun,
It
and
has.
I love your laughter.
Thank you.
I can't reiterate enough. Be around positive people,
Hmm.
laugh as much as you can, right?
Hmm.
And listen to some great music.
Oh
And
yeah.
having said that, you guys out there need to tune into the buzz. That's right. I'm giving myself a plug here. StudioWBuzz.com, StudioWBuzz.com. You can download the app. The Apple app is William Worldwide. William Worldwide. Android is Studio W. We're available on LinkedIn. We're available on Facebook, Twitter, Alexa, Google Play, Apple CarPlay. Did I say Spotify? Yeah, that too. But go to the website because you'll be able to, within 24 hours, you will be able to see and listen to this show on the website, studiow.buzz. Please share with all of your friends www.studiow.buzz. We promise, not to disappoint. Please subscribe, leave a comment. Please leave a comment. All right. Sister Tanisha, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is there
Same here.
anything you would like to say before you leave us?
I was gonna say thank you for having me here. I really enjoyed the show.
Well, that's the easy. That's the easy
Yeah.
part.
Yeah. This is
Having you here is the easy
serious.
part. Hey
Yeah.
guys, hey,
People.
thank you so much.
Hmm.
Hey guys and gals, this has been another segment of Groove Swing Speaks each and every Tuesday right here on this network. Each and every Tuesday. Check it out. We're on all major platforms. So enjoy your night. Thank you so much, my dear
All
sister.
right. Thank you.
And my brothers.
Cheese up.
All right. Hey,
Okay.
thank you again. Hey, stay tuned.